Hello guys, this is the Lord again. I'm back again and this time with a World of Warships video. And in this video I'm gonna be focusing on how to play Japanese destroyers in combination with their crew skills. So basically, which crew skills do I think they're best suited for the playstyle I think that's best suited for the Japanese destroyers. So in general, when you look at the Japanese tech tree, it goes from, of course, from tier 2 to 10, and I will be focusing more on the higher tier destroyers, like from 6 until 10, as there you can have the most crew skills if you just level up your ship. And also, I do think the higher you go, the more advanced the play will be, and also the more use of crew skills you can have. And furthermore, like I do think, like between the umikaze and the izukaze, I do think it's kind of a little bit of seal clubbing. So I want to focus more on progressing play and developing your play rather than sticking in the lower tiers to punish new people to the game. So when checking the Japanese destroyers, like they do have really two strong points. One of them is concealment. It's probably the best in the game, tier for tier and 3 for 3, and that in combination with your basically your main damage dealer, in my case at least, is the Torpedo. In almost all cases, the Torpedo range is longer than the concealment range or the detectability range, so you basically can shoot torpedoes without being detected. In the Minakaze, for example, or the Mitsuki, for example, you got a torpedo range of around 10 kilometers and a detectability range of 5.9. So you get 4.1 kilometers, 4.1 kilometers in which you basically can play around with. If you go a little bit to the lower tiers, for example, let's say the Wakatake, your torpedo range is 7 kilometers, while your service detectability range is 6.1. So you got around 900 meters in which you can play without being detected, but you can still like fire your torpedoes. So back to the Mutsuki. Like I said, those are the two strong points. Definitely one of the weaker points is the gun of this torpedo. You don't dish out that much damage. The gun turrets are really slow turning, so close combat fighting with your guns is definitely not one of the strong suits. So basically, what I think the main argument in playing the Japanese destroyers is don't get detected. Play in concealment, use your torpedoes, and if you're getting detected, either like disappear as fast as you can, with either getting outside of the detectability range or using smoke screens. And if you get in a brawl, yes, then you have to, yeah, it's a last resort, ditch effort to shoot your guns. Of course, like later in the game, like if a game progresses and it doesn't matter you're being detected, please spam your guns as much as you can. But for me, to maximize my gameplay, I'm not being detected. So I'm gonna go level per level, like this being level 1, this being level 2, 3, 4, and 5. I will go level for level. What I do think that's the most suited skill on that level, and why you should choose it, and also why not the other levels. And in some cases, you can make a choice between skills. So on level 1, I do think there's only one decent choice for the Japanese destroyers. That's Situational Awareness. It can happen in some cases. You get surprised and that you're driving into a detectability range and you're not aware of. So Situational Awareness, like World of Tanks, like Sixth Sense, it warns you when you're getting spotted. And basically it also tells you when to get decloaked instantly. So when you need to disengage the enemy, basically. If you go a little bit further, how it can help you, for example, you're driving a Mitsuki and you're getting detected, but you don't detect any other ship. That means with the ships that are available in the game, that a enemy Japanese destroyer will detect you. So it also gives you a little bit more extra information about where the enemy Japanese destroyer is, and if you, for example, like me, know most of the detectability ranges of the different destroyers, then you also know which destroyer it can be. If you're a user that does not play that well with torpedoes, and you're more focusing on the guns, like my first advice would be not to play the Japanese destroyers. But if you do and you really want to force yourself, secondary armament could also be an option for you. This also does work for the destroyer guns, as they have a lower caliber gun than 155 millimeters. Also, the AA on the a little bit higher tier destroyers is quite decent for Japanese destroyers. So if a aircraft carrier hovers his planes constantly above you, you can definitely use your AA. As a basic, of course, your AA should always be off, and you're going to use it with the short key P. So that being said, I do think the other skills are pretty useless, and I would never choose them. Back on the 7th level, I do think there's only one crew skill that's decent, and that's basically Torpedo Armament Expertise. As I said, your main damage dealer is your torpedoes, and you want to maximize your damage per minute or damage per game, basically. As in some cases, like your torpedo reload time could go up to 2.5 minutes. So basically, yeah, everything to maximize your damage. 10% reloading time of torpedo tubes on like 2.5 minutes is insane, is an insane amount of seconds. So take it. Also, the other options, basically aiming experts. Yeah, you're using your guns, you want to be concealed, so that's not really an option. Fire prevention, that means that you're already getting shot at, so I wouldn't advise that. And incoming fire alerts, you already got situational awareness, so I really do think this is a useless skill, maybe even for any ship, as basically if you got situational awareness and you're getting spotted, you know you're getting shot at. So yeah, don't know why they introduced that skill. Maybe for battleships or aircraft carriers. Like that's about it. Going to tier 3 or level 3. There's one that's really, in my opinion, the best. That's Superintendent. You get an additional smoke screen, and that's like the thing you're gonna use in two situations. One is you're getting spotted, you're getting surprised, you launch your smoke screen and you can disengage almost instantly. The smoke screen is not as good as it was in closed beta and alpha testing. There it was like basically a mountain you put in, or an island you put in front of your destroyer. Now it is way shorter, and it definitely has its flaws, but it still is a decent disengager. Furthermore, you can also use it as a preventive tool when you know you're gonna get spotted, but you still want to launch your torpedoes. You're just like putting up a smoke screen and you fire behind the smoke screen your torpedoes, and you can surprise like the acquisition range between the enemy and your smoke screen, of course, is way shorter, so you surprise them easier. And furthermore, like if you're a little bit behind the smoke screen, you can even fire your guns if the target is, for example, really low HP and you just want to finish them off. There is one skill you can argue about on this level 3. That's the Vigilance. Basically, it wants you more or earlier when torpedoes are coming your way. If you're really getting surprised a lot around the corners by destroyers, and basically when a torpedo hits your game, in most cases is over. Yeah, you can use this so you can detect torpedoes earlier. However, I don't think that's a strong suit of Japanese torpedoes, destroyers. Like, you got a pretty long range, and yeah, how to say it? I don't like. Yes, you can have close quarter combat with other destroyers or cruisers, but that's not really the situation you should be in the beginning. If you're up against American destroyers, you will always spot them earlier than they do. And if you're against cruisers, you're really not in the right fight. Like, destroyers should not focus on cruisers, as they're nimble, they have high DPM, and they can basically wreck you in a couple of salvos. The other skills are basically useless. This is for carriers, and the high alert. You don't have a damage control party on a destroyer. So going to the 4th level, I only think there's like one crew skill viable. That's the Last Stand. Basically, destroyers are really susceptible to module damage. So if your engine gets knocked out, or your steering or your rudder gets knocked out, basically you're dead in the water. Last Stand gives you the option, or gives you the viability to basically still move around and get away. And you can definitely use it in combination with your smoke to disengage. The other options, they are not really options. Like, another one for the carrier, or for the aircraft carrier, advanced fire training. Yeah, some Japanese destroyers have decent AA, but you shouldn't be doing that. There are other ships to do that for you in the game, and increase fire chance by a shell. You're a Japanese destroyer focusing on your main damage done by torpedoes, not by the guns. So I do think Last Stand definitely can help you out, and can save you, as you don't want to be either knocked out with your engine standing still, or driving around in circles. Like, that's horrible. That will get you killed. So basically you want to survive, and be as long in the game as possible. On tier 5, I would say there are like 2 skills you can choose between, and it also depends on the progression of other players in the game. Of course, the meta now is that everybody is still on the middle tiers, like 5, 6, 7s, and lower, of course. There are only a few guys who are like up to level 10 or tier 10. There are 2 options, and you can argue about it. One, of course, is the easiest. It's Concealment Expert. It's a 10% detectability of destroyers. And if you combine that with, for example, the tier 10, and if you progress tier for tier, and you take your captain with you each time, like, this is most likely when you get access to that crew skill. You get a service detectability range of 7.6, so a 10% reduction of that. That's quite a lot. Like, you're then between 6.9 kilometers and 7 kilometers. So I would say that's definitely worth it. Like, not being detected is key in Japanese destroyers, and can definitely give you an advantage over other destroyers that don't have, for example, this crew skill. So you can exploit it. Like, you can even get even closer, detect other destroyers earlier, let your team kill those destroyers, so you basically have the free reign during the rest of the game. You can also go for Preventive Maintenance, and to be fair, like, I haven't used this skill at all. Like, it wasn't there in closed beta, and I'm not there yet in the open beta here. It gives you a minus 34% chance of incapacitation of modules, and basically when it's killing for destroyers to get your module skills. So you could argue that this is a pretty good skill. There is a really important however. People or enemy players are already shooting at you when your modules are getting hit. So that means you're getting detected and you have situational awareness. That means you didn't use your smoke or you didn't use your smoke in time. That also means that you're not really relying on last stand. And yeah, you didn't, of course, have Concealment Expert in that case. So my preference, like I'm always trying to improve myself and excel in my play, would go for Concealment Expert, because then you're maximizing the storm points of the Japanese destroyers and minimizing your mistakes, and using the torpedo range in combination with the detection range. If you're how to say it, want to play a little bit more relaxed without paying too much attention to detection range and torpedo range and game mechanics, then maybe Preventive Maintenance will be the better option for you. However, you could argue that in that case you shouldn't play Japanese destroyers. So basically that's it. To make a summary, play Japanese destroyers based on detection range, concealment range, and your torpedo range. That's your playing field in which you can safely operate. If you're getting detected, use your smokes, get out of the detection range, and with the combination of crew skills, situational awareness, torpedo armament expertise, the Superintendent, the last stand, and Concealment Expert, you would be able to maximize your potential as a Japanese destroyer captain. So guys, I really hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give me a like, and especially to help out the community a bit, which definitely is struggling at the moment with playing the destroyers, feel free to share this video as much as you like. Good luck and have fun.